Namaste, lovelies. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. This is Ganesh. This is my latest creation. Ganesh is the remover of all obstacles. One of the Ganesh mantras to help remove obstacles is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. That's Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. It's the remover of all obstacles. Today we are doing a Ganesh-inspired movement to remove obstacles. How do we remove obstacles? Well, Mr. Ganesh, Lord Ganesh, this chant has been chanted for thousands of years, and this is Sanskrit. Sanskrit has this powerfulness to it. I have started this mantra about 5 months ago, and I mantra it 8 times with the mala. But we're going to do a little more inspired movement with Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And how we can let go of obstacles is find an inner strength inside of all of the chaos of the world. Join me and let's remove some negativity and find inner strength within us that has always been there that we might not have been aware of. Begin in the easy pose in Sukhasana, or crisscross applesauce, moving the fleshy parts of the booty around, allowing the body to rest into this moment. If this doesn't work for your legs, if you have a knee injury or they're a little bit stiffer, you can kind of let your legs hang out straight. You can find Baddha Konasana, the butterfly, if that works better for you. Or some people do find it better to find Savasana, the pose of surrender, so gently laying down on the mat, being still. Find your pose that works best for you. I'm going to try something a little different today. I'm going to try the butterfly. Sitting, however, feels good for you, rooting into the earth through those sit bones. In whatever pose you take, find integrity. Integrity in the spine. Imagining there's this beautiful beaming light pulsating from the sun, beaming straight down to our sit bones. And our job is to let that beam of light run straight through us. In yoga, we have these bandhas, or there are these locks inside of our body. And if we can learn how to tap into these, we can actually create more energy with it. Our first bandha in women is in the Kegel area. And in men, it's between the anus and the testicles, and it's that space where you just also known as a taint. You can squeeze that. You just squeeze inside. For women, there's this funny imagery of imagine you're snatching whoop a tissue up there, up in your vagina, whoop, squeeze that up. Or men, you don't have that space, but squeezing that in. And that's like a lock. So imagine that locked down. The second lock is here at the center of our being, right under our belly button. So imagining tightening up at the core. And the third is this lock here at the chin. So it's finding this soft little tuck to the chin. And next we're going to work on a mudra, like Ganesh mudra. Ganesh mudra is going to be fist to fist, clasping together. And feel what works better for you. If it works better to have your left under or your right. The hands are going to be opposite, locking together. And at the heart space, sitting here, tuning in to the breath and tuning into the beat of the heart. As we begin, we're going to take a Piraka pranayama. with a long, steady inhale into the heart center, breathing in deeply. Long, lengthened fluid in, and a gentle, organic exhale. Long in, gently, organically exhaling. The Piraka Pranayama is a purifying breath. So as we're purifying, lengthen, smooth into the heart. Gently drop the jaw. Let the air organically flow out. Take 3 Piraka breaths, purifying breaths into the heart space. Long, steady in. And gently just let it go. Long, lengthened inhale. Just a steady, smooth exhale. One more deep, purifying breath, removing obstacles. Exhaling. Follow with the Rechaka Pranayama. Rechaka Pranayama is focusing more on exhaling. And you can change your Sukhasana if what works for you. Rechaka is extending on the exhale, allowing us to let go of our exhale, of our obstacles. This one is going to be more, let's bring our awareness more to the belly. Holding our Ganesh mudra. Just a gentle, organic flow in. And a lengthened, long exhale out. Making more of an audible sound like a ha or an ah. Inhaling in. Exhaling. Letting it out. Extending the exhale. Rechaka Pranayama, soft inhale. Lengthen exhale. Take 3 more pranayamas at your own rate. Prana is the life force. This is this energy within us. Extending on that exhale. Yama is the breath. As we do breath work, we are connecting our breath to our body and hopes to connect our breath to our body, to our movement, our mind, and our energetic contact. Breathing in, exhaling out. Referring back to Om Gam Ganapate Namah. We're going to repeat that. Making our way up into tabletop. Palms of the hands. Wrists over the elbows, elbows over the shoulders. Tuning into the back of the feet. Feet track behind knees and hips. Tuning into our tabletop position. Tuning into that Banta, that second energy source here. Where naturally we want to drop, and a lot of women and men, we have a tendency to just drop and sag in our midsection because we're not as strong in the core. Inhaling up, imagine there's a board on your back, placing your own hand behind your back, and feeling that strength. Inhaling, rolling the spine, slowly journeying with the chin, tucking the tail up to the ceiling, to a cow. Inhaling, rolling to a cat, raising between the shoulder blades, keeping a soft bend to the elbows, imagining you're like a black cat on Halloween, and your job is to extend your shoulders. Exhaling, journeying the spine, tuning into the arms, and if you need to slightly rotate the biceps forward, exhaling, rotating, finding a movement within cow and cats. Breathing in one of those breaths that we just practiced, either the deep lengthened inhale, or the smooth, long exhale. Turn into one that feels good. Or if you can, trying to combine them. Long inhale in. Lengthen exhale out. Tuning into our intention of removing obstacles. Breathing in those sacred words of Om Gam Ganapate Namah. Finding a movement that feels good, freeing up the spine, wagging the tail back and forth. Maybe if your shoulders want to move down, maybe you want to do a few little of your own push-ups, coming up and down. Exhaling, straight up raising up the spine, bring the hips forward, tuning into your body and what feels good here. Keeping up on the points of the feet or exhaling the top of the feet down, rooting into the earth. for a Vajrasana variation. So you can have a couple variations. You can stay down if this is a little bit tricky for you. So you want to touch the tips of the toes together, dropping the heels out. If this doesn't work, you can cross the feet, top one foot over the other, and kind of nestling in here. If this still isn't comfortable, you can take a pillow. You can find a pillow at your home practice. That's what's lovely about being home. Putting the pillow here and resting back to what feels good. And you could need two pillows, or you could just want to stay up here. For this Vajrasana variation, a little mini sun salutation here. Tuning into what feels good for you. Exhaling the arms out to a T. Hinging forward at the hips, allowing the heart to come down to the earth. Allowing the forehead to slowly and cautiously come down to the earth. Allowing the hands to come back in a flighted position. You can either keep the hands at the sides or binding at the back. Binding is palms kissing palms, interlacing the fingertips together. Either tuning into the knuckles at the spine or exhaling the arms, keeping a soft bend straight out into the environment. Taking a moment here. Gently exhaling the arms out to a T, slowly and consciously with more engagement. Hinging straight up. Sun salutation, arms straight up above, palms kissing palms, Anjali Mudra to the heart center. Taking a moment here and feeling a little bit of that bliss down, that high up and feeling. Exhaling, arms straight up to the side to a T. Hinging at the hips with core engagement. Gently going forward, diving down at the forehead. Tuning into what feels good to either put the hands at the sides or binding them together. Taking a moment here. Taking one of those deep pranayamas. Either a long, lengthened inhale, followed with a slow exhale, or a steady inhale, and a lengthened exhale. Exhaling arms to a T, raising at the back of the heart, hinging at the hips. Exhaling arms straight up to the sky. Taking a moment to sit back. If sitting back burns the feet, if your feet are feeling on fire, you can rest them down to the earth. Grab that pillow, sit back, find your comfort. Find a moment here. We don't want to get so comfortable because we are moving here. Exhaling, raising up. Arms straight up above, palms kissing palms to heart center. Exhaling straight up to a T. Hinging at the hips, tuning into what it feels like to go at the hips. A lot of the times we have a tendency to sag and droop with our shoulders. Keeping the integrity of the spine, imagining there's a string or a pole on our back, and our job is to hinge forward. Keeping our chin tucked, the integrity, keeping those bandhas, those locks engaged. Coming down, allowing that forehead to gently rest on the mat. Placing the hands to what feels good, or binding. Taking a moment, inhaling or exhaling for those pranayamas. Tuning into your breath here. Exhaling the arms straight out. Hands raising straight up to the ceiling. Inhaling, stepping the left foot forward. Tuning in to the 4 points of the feet. In yoga, there's 4 points of the feet, which are two in the front and two in the back. Connecting or gluing those feet where you're close down. Imagine if we were Ganesh. So Ganesh here, you can see this lovely Lord Ganesh. Ganesh is like a half man, half of an elephant. So he's very strong and sturdy. Imagine an elephant as your hoof is hoofed down to the earth, raising your toes and letting them place down. Turn into this back leg, keeping the integrity and the strength in the body, allowing that top foot to rest down into the earth. Maybe taking a moment just to squish back a little bit. And taking a moment here in this little runner's lunge, maybe coming a little bit forward, stretching at the back of that thigh, opening up the thigh and the calf. Inhaling, coming back down, walking the arms back to what feels good. If you can only stay here, that's fine. If you need to grab that pillow and put that under, or gently walking back and allowing the front of the body to open. If you get here, drive your hips straight up to the sky, planting the palms and hands down to the earth. Opening up at the hips here. Exhaling down. Gently walking the hands up. Coming back up for that runner's lunge. And switching to the opposite side. Knees kissing knees into tabletop. Taking a moment here in tabletop. tabletop, rooting down, the hands kissing the earth, tuning into that starfish hand, opening up, finding energy in between the fingers. Exhaling the opposite foot, raising up here. If you have a little discomfort in your knee, you can find a blanket, because I know sometimes my knee gets a little uncomfortable. Tuning into the opposite foot, kissing the earth, as we were talking about Ganesh, that elephant. Imagining your hoof is rooted down into the earth by those 4 points. Really pressing into the earth, tuning into the ankle and the knee and the hip. Then tuning into the back hind leg. If you see my hind foot is pointed out to the side, tuning in, tracking it back behind. Finding the integrity of the ankle to the knee and the hip. And tuning into the hips, placing the hips forward here. Taking a moment here to stretch forward, opening up at the back of the heart, and gently walking back, allowing the hips to gently hinge back. And as we spoke about before, if pointing up on the foot and staying up here is uncomfortable, you can grab that pillow, put that pillow behind your butt. Exhaling the top of the foot down to the earth, gently, slowly, and steadily staying here if this feels good, or if you have more range of motion, you can gently walk back and stretch, allowing the hands to walk behind. So you're at this nice angular motion, allowing the hands to sprawl straight to the sides. Good morning, Milo. Exhaling, raising up at the hips. Finding a moment here to open up at the heart space. Soft bend in the elbows. Exhaling, opening up. This is Milo. He is awake right now, and he made a piggy. Do you want to show my vlogger people your piggy? You can hold it up to the camera right there. Milo made that piggy. Exhaling, opening up the hips, working through distractions and obstacles. Tuning in if you are back here, if one hip is falling down, driving up at the hips here, maybe feeling a little bit of heat. Gently exhaling that booty down to the earth, and slowly and steadily walking forward, coming back up here on the knee to this runner's lunge. Exhaling back to tabletop here, taking a moment here, rotating side to side. Top, you can remove that prop out of the way. Tuning the hands into the earth, into that starfish hand. Pushing and grounding through the thumb and the first finger to the pinky. Exhaling, allowing the tops of the feet to rise up into Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Driving the hips straight back, tuning into the arms, allowing the biceps to slowly roll out while the triceps roll in. A soft bend at the elbows. Taking a moment here to walk out your dog, pedaling the feet back and forth. Tuning into this foundational pose of yoga. This is an inversion here. Creating this beautiful upside down V. As in life, there are obstacles. Obstacles can be found in many forms. Inside out, upside down. So working through whatever it is that you need to work through, tuning into our mantra of Om Gam Ganpate Namah. Working through obstacles here. Exhaling the left leg straight up into the air. Inhaling the leg and the knee. Savasana. Exhaling the left leg, raising it straight up to the sky. Inhaling it to the chin. Exhaling, raising straight up to the sky. Inhaling to the chin. Exhaling, foot straight back. And coming down into plank pose. Taking a moment to find that inner strength. A lot of the times in planks, we'll find ourselves with our butts up way too high or drooped down, as in we're doing an upward dog. Finding the integrity of a plank. Imagining you were on a pirate ship, and a plank is actually straight. So raising up like we did in those cow cats. Allowing the shoulders to push up, opening up, rolling the biceps out, finding the strength. Inhaling the left leg, bringing the knee, slicing it horizontally into the left elbow. Exhaling it straight back. Inhaling to the opposite elbow, finding that inner strength. Exhaling it straight back. One more time. Inhaling into the same elbow. Exhaling it straight back. Inhaling it to the opposite elbow. Straight back into plank. Taking a moment of stillness here. Inhaling, finding that strength of that Ganesh mantra, the Om Gam Ganpate Namah. Soft bend in the elbows. Inhaling the right knee, horizontally slicing it into the right elbow. Exhaling it straight back. Inhaling the knee to the opposite elbow. Exhaling straight back, finding the integrity in the shape. Being okay with wherever you are in your mat. Inhaling into the opposite, the same elbow. Exhaling straight back. Inhaling into the opposite elbow. Straight back. Back to down facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. Taking a moment here to find a little stillness. Walking at the dog. Exhaling. Now the opposite. Left leg up to the sky. Inhaling, curling at the knee at the chin. Exhaling. The right leg straight up to the sky. Inhaling up to the chin. Exhaling straight up to the sky. On the next inhale, allowing that foot to come through the hands. And if your foot doesn't quite make it where you would like it to be, slowly helping it forward, like a little helping hand. Pressing down, tuning into those hoofs, those strong Ganesh feet. Stepping the opposite foot to meet at the top of the mat for Utkatasana, forward fold. Hinging forward at the hips, allowing the arms to windshield wipe and sway back and forth. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows together, gently rocking the hips, finding a little bit of a dynamic movement here, back and forth here. Inhaling one of those beautiful breaths, either that long extended inhale or that long extended exhale. Tuning into the breath, melting into the moment. Deeply inhaling, exhaling down, allowing the hands to hit the earth, keeping a soft bend in the knees, and maybe rounding at the spine, hugging the back of the thighs. If you have more of that really flexibility in the body, this is Mr. Jack. You can keep a straighter spine here, but my body, I have this tendency to just be a little bit stiffer in the back of my hamstrings and my spine, so I like to keep a round shape, so rounding here. Exhaling, coming up to a flat back, imagining that light that we were talking about is beaming straight from our sit bones to the crown of our head. Tuning in if our neck is drooping down or up. Tuning into that as we're forward folding, coming up with that straight back. Imagining that light that's powering through our sit bones and running through, tuning into that bandha if our back is sagging and running straight above. Taking integrity of the spine here. Exhaling, rounding down to the earth. Inhaling, raising up to a flat back. Exhaling, clasping down. Inhaling, slowly and steadily, gently each vertebrae by each vertebrae, rolling up, last raising at the shoulders and the neck and the crown. Coming into Tadasana. Tadasana is a foundational pose in yoga. We use this pose all of the time, but a lot of the times we aren't aware of how we are standing in the earth. Grounding down at those 4 points of the feet, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. Lifting up all 5 of the toes and gently resting. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and big toe down to the earth. Grounding and pushing in with our Ganesh feet, our rooted into the earth feet. Tuning into that heart center. Om Gam Ganpate Namah. Removing obstacles. Stepping the right foot back 3 to 4 feet behind, keeping a slight angle to the foot. And imagine we're on a set of skis opposed to a tightrope. If we're on a tightrope, we're going to lose our balance. But if we're on a set of skis and we're rooting into the front foot, rounding down into the toe, bending forward at the knee, tuning down into the big toe. If you're covering all the toes, you've gone a little bit too far. And if you're all the way back and you can see all the toes, they're exposed too much. And actually really tuning into the knee. If the knee is clasping, if the knee is coming and falling too far in, that's going to throw off the integrity and the alignment of your hips and your knees, or too far out. Really tuning into the alignment and the integrity of your body. So it would be foot to ankle to knee and hip. Tuning the hip and turning your hips like they are your Ganesh ears. Elephants have these huge flappy ears. Taking your big flappy ears, I know they're a little further down, and tuning those ears straight forward with a soft bend to that high knee. Coming forward, arms straight to a T for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Ganesh is one of these amazing, strong, rooted, grounded warriors, as you are a warrior. Extending, exhaling the back arm and the back leg, repositioning the hind leg for Virabhadrasana 2. Scooching this hind leg back a little bit, keeping it soft, bend the knees, finding that inner strength here for this inner warrior. Feeling strength and rooted into the earth, finding a little bit of a dynamic variation. Rolling forward for our opposite, Virabhadrasana, the reverse warrior. Exhaling to the opposite direction. Allowing yourself to find a little dynamic, soft, graceful movement here. Maybe allowing your elephant trunk to sway back and forth while tuning into those feet rooted into the earth. If you were an elephant, you had a trunk, what would it look like if you wanted to take a drink of water on a hot day? Allowing that trunk to rise and fall. Maybe you have two trunks. You're more like Shiva, the fire goddess, who has many arms, 8 arms, like a mother who does many things at one time. Exhaling that foot, that front foot straight out, allowing the arms to come to a T, tuning into the hips and what it feels like to move here at the hips. As you move at the hips, allowing the arm to rest gently down on the thigh or the leg for Trikonasana. Tuning into the hip if it wants to fall, opening up at the hip, opening up shoulder, stacking over shoulder for Trikonasana here. Taking a moment to breathe, one of those Rechaka or Puraka breaths, the purifying or the exhaling breaths. Exhaling, arms straight to a T. Facing both feet facing forward. Taking a moment. Hinging forward at the hips, bending forward for Parivrtta Padottanasana, a forward fold here. Taking a moment to hinge and forward fold, not going all the way down, just for a nice straight back. Exhaling, raising up at the back. Just relocating our feet to the opposite edge of the mat, coming in for those warrior series. Allowing the front foot, so we're going to be switched here. Whatever foot you did, do the opposite. Tuning in that foot on those set of skis, your elephant feet, planting and rooting down into the earth. A 45-degree angle with the opposite foot. A soft bend in the hind knee, bending and tuning into the foot, the ankle, and the knee and the hips. Turning those elephant ears facing straight forward. Arms to a T. Arms raised overhead for Virabhadrasana 1. And if you can take it into a soft, slight back bend, arching at the back, opening with the heart, opening up, maybe winging those elephant arms down for a dynamic cactus. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, pinching down towards the elbow. Exhaling the arms straight up into the air. Inhaling, arms straight down to the back. Exhaling, arms straight up. Relocating, getting ready to position to Virabhadrasana 2. Repositioning the back arm and the back leg. The back leg is going to now be facing the long edge of your mat and maybe repositioning, pushing it, scooching it back to a stance that feels good on your body. If you're up here, that's going to be a little bit too close, but if you have a little bit more of a restriction in your hip area or really big hip injury, then you can stay up here, but kind of go and find that edge, which is that point between too comfortable and painful. You want to find that spot. Extend the arms, tuning in, bending, hinging at the knee, opening up at the arms, maybe finding a soft twist, rotating the shoulders and opening here, facing at the front edge of the mat, and opening to your warrior 2, exhaling, hinging to a T, facing forward, finding a soft little twist in your spine. Kind of feeling like you're wringing out a towel. Exhaling, opening, inhaling forward. And taking a moment here to tune into the knee. And tune into the foot on that side. And just feel what it feels like, what it would feel like to kind of take off, and what it would feel like to get into a warrior 3 here. So a warrior 3, I'm going to step back a little bit. We're going to use a little bit of a prop here to start. If you need a little bit of it works great. I have a chair, a little kitty chair, because imagine I have 3 children. Why would I have a child's chair? Wink, wink. A warrior 3 is like you are just rooted into the earth and you have all 3 of your other limbs straight up. So tuning into that foot and what it would feel like and what it would look like to get that foot straight off of the earth and connect the the ankle to the knee to the hip. And you can use your chair to come straight down for support in warrior 3 here. And just tune into what feels. If you're feeling wobbly, that's okay. So taking a moment, or if you have a block would work great, or any sort of chair. Tuning into that foot here, finding a drishti, which in yoga, a drishti is a visual point. So let's try to imagine this beautiful Ganesh. This is the remover of all obstacles. This is our whole vision for this class today. Okay, this right now is not the time for that. Okay, back up. So using that, maybe we can use a little bit of an audio, which is going to be Om Gam Ganpate Namah. And powering up to that warrior 3, so feeling what it feels like. And if you need the chair, going down through the chair, and if you're feeling strong and grounded, you can bring your arms out and fly and hover. Tuning into the hips, the opposite hip is going to want to open, and bringing that hip down. You can fly the arms straight back or the arms straight forward to Virabhadrasana 3. Finding strength and stability. If you fall out, that is okay. Being okay with where you are on your mat here in this moment. Here in this pose, it's okay. Removing obstacles isn't easy. It takes a lot of hard work. Gently tuning in and rolling the opposite foot down, planting into the earth, coming back up for Tadasana. Taking a moment of stillness to walk out the feet, shake out the arms, and tune into what it's going to take for you to power off to that Virabhadrasana 3, that warrior 3 on the opposite leg. So rooting into your elephant hoof into the earth. And taking a moment maybe to feel what it feels like just to get your balance and hinging forward here. Hinging forward here onto the chair, taking a moment here to feel what that feels like. And just gently coming down. Maybe doing that a couple more times. Then if you're feeling determined with our Om Gam Ganpate to remove all the obstacles in your life, and sometimes removing obstacles means we're going to have struggles and challenges, to challenge yourself here. As you challenge yourself, tune into your foot, your ankle, your knee, and your hip, and the opposite hip. As the opposite hip is going to want to open up, doing your best to point both of the hips down to the earth while keeping an integrity of a lengthened spine. Taking a moment to tune into a visual spot, something just like gazing at something softly and slightly, opening up here, allowing the arms to come flying out to the sides, or allowing the arms to rest. And if you're feeling wobbly, that's okay. Refinding your ground, maybe hands at the hips. You might find one side is more challenging than the other. Removing the wrinkles from the neck, powering up at the foot and the ankle, finding that strength, powering through, imagining that laser beam shooting straight from the toes to the tips of the fingers, finding strength here, working through this obstacle with Om Gam Ganpate Namah. And if you fall out, that's fine. Taking a moment to gently roll out however feels good for you. Maybe resting the hands forward on the chair or wherever you are. And allowing a moment here and gently rolling up. And just finding a moment here to be grateful for this body as we work at removing obstacles in our lives. As we are going to actually still take this chair, keeping your chair near, moving into Natsi-Andrasana, which is the dancer's pose. So tuning in to the left side of the body. The same thing, grounding into the foot, the knee, the ankle, finding integrity of your elephant ears, your hips, tuning those elephant ears that might be flapping and blowing away, and tuning in for a dancer's pose. Maybe gently posting the hind foot up on the back of the earth, putting the hand out, like, may I please have some water? Opposite side, please have some water. Keeping the left hand on the left hip, allowing that arm to come back, and tuning into the shoulders facing forward as your elephant ears are facing forward. Really tuning into the balance of the body and allowing that ankle to come in contact with the hand. Tuning into your body here, exhaling, the arms straight up to the earth, the sky. Tuning into that foot and gently hinging. If this feels good, you can stay. We're hinging forward here, tuning in, kicking that foot back in to the hand and feeling the trigger of the muscles as the muscles are really stimulated as we're moving, contracting, expanding. Going to what feels good, finding that drishti, find that balance. If you fall out, it's okay to be wobbly. but being strengthened and knowing that surrendering to our obstacles sometimes will break us through to a straighter path in life. Exhaling, maybe growing up at the hip a little bit if the knee's bending. Exhaling, slowly coming back down. Woo! Taking a moment here to feel gratitude for this body. Tuning in to that body. Beautiful work for Natsi-Andrasana. And then coming in for Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon. We're going to use a prop with this pose. Tuning into that same leg, surrendering into this moment. Rooting down as we did into Virabhadrasana 3, Ardha Chandrasana. We're going to move our body, coming down, maybe moving our chair a little bit to the outer side, posting our hand down, raising up through the hip, allowing the body to slowly open, slowly opening up at the hips, slowly opening up at the arms. Keeping a soft gaze, looking down or straight forward. Finding the strength here, opening up, finding strength as you're shooting energy through your fingertips. Om Gam Ganpate Namah. Soft bend in that leg, finding a little bit of stillness here, a little bit of surrender. Breathing 2 deep breaths. Long inhale. Little soft exhale. Gentle inhale. Let it go, exhale. Gently, slowly coming back down. Releasing to the earth. Maybe taking a moment on your chair, moving the chair in the middle. Walking out your legs a little bit here, feeling the burn and the heat of the legs. Exhaling. As we're in this forward fold, you can drop your hands down, maybe come to the earth for a minute. And take a moment of stillness here. You can gently inhale to flat back. Exhale down to the earth. Slowly and consciously rolling up at the spine. Shoulders last. Coming up, taking a moment into Tadasana. Feeling rooted and strengthened. Maybe feeling a little off balance. Getting ready to balance out our sides here. Taking our chair as we reposition our feet facing the opposite side of our mat. Facing the opposite side of our mat, tuning into that Natsi-Andrasana, the dancers. Tuning our foot, placing all of our four corners onto the earth. Exhaling our left hand out, coming back for, oh, can I please have some more? Exhaling, raising up the opposite arm. Powering up, keeping soft bend the knee on the earth. Feeling the strength in that body. Keeping the hips in alignment, the spine in alignment, growing at the upper spine, keeping integrity here. Kicking that foot back into that arm, feeling the strength of that bicep as you stay here or gently choose to hinge forward at the hips. And if you're feeling wobbly, it's okay, but find that strength. Find a little bit of that surrender. That knee might want to come out, hugging the knee towards the opposite thigh. Hugging that in, finding that inner strength. Tuning into Om Gam Ganpate Namah. Finding that strength here. Taking a deep breath into the heart space. Exhaling out. Inhaling. Exhaling. Maybe fighting through those obstacles. Gently exhaling down. Taking a moment to wiggle out. Allowing that body to feel whatever it's feeling. Tingly, twinkly, hinges. Putting the chair a little bit on the opposite side for Ardha Chandrasana for the half moon. Tuning in, working past that burn for our last power strengthening move. Pushing past these obstacles. Envisioning yourself coming into that beautiful Ardha Chandrasana at half moon. As we visualize it, we slowly move, hinging at the hips, tuning into the ankle, knee alignment in the hip. Allowing that chair, maybe moving it back a little bit. Allowing that hand to root into the earth. And allowing the leg to come up and the arm to come up. Finding that drishti, that visual point. And slowly opening up our shoulder and our hip like our trunks. We're opening up our ear so we can hear on the right side. Maybe our trunk waves a little bit, if you can find this here. Finding this openness here. Maybe a little bit of a shake. Beautiful work, breathing in deeply to that heart space. Removing those obstacles. Finding a breath that works. Om Gam Ganpate Namah. Gently exhaling, rolling down. Finding a a little bit of a movement that feels good. Moving that chair out of the way here. Exhaling into Paudwal. Parsvrita Padottanasana, the wide-legged forward fold. Keeping a soft bend in the knees, tuning both of the feet facing the long edge of the mat, hinging forward at the hips, finding integrity of the spine as we're slowly journeying down, slowly coming down to pull down the spine, hinging forward here, allowing the arms to hit the earth. If you need to, you can bend more at the knees. Finding a soft movement of swaying side to side, windshield wipering the hands back and forth. As you're swaying, cooling down the body, maybe walking slowly and skating to the left side, opening up the opposite side, walking over, opening up here, hinging forward here. And taking a moment to heel toe forward. And crouching down and coming into our final pose of surrender. So choosing how to finish your practice, I highly recommend finishing in Savasana. If you can, taking a moment to just rest the body against the earth, rolling down to the earth, and allowing your body to find stillness here and recuperate from all of those power poses of Om, Gam, Ganpate, Namah. Sinking into the moment and allowing yourself to feel what it feels like to remove all obstacles. I love you so much, and I'm truly grateful for you practicing with me today. Namaste.